What's going on there, everyone, and welcome back to the video with Drake. Now today we're going into the Epic Encounters. That's where I finally got around to getting one of these sets. It's from Steamforged Games, so I have high hopes. As you guys have seen when I do most Steamforged products, I am on the ball. I am loving them. This one I'm hoping will not disappoint. This is a 5e compatible system. So this is Steppe of the Lizard Thane. Now, this is Lizard Men. I love my Lizard Men. They're pretty cool. They're awesome usually, and supposedly there's like 18 models in here, so we're gonna get 18 cool lizard people. Really awesome. I think honestly though, when it comes down to what I'm hoping for 18 unique sculpts, just because I think it will make it look better. But I could be wrong. You never know. They could just do like a couple of each, and you never know nowadays. I've seen some do crazy stuff, some do boring stuff. Just trying to make sure I get this right. Yeah, so right now, okay. Once as always, I'll talk about pricing at the end and when to get them and all that stuff. But overall, the box art itself looks nice. I mean, we're looking pretty good here. I don't see any issue. Let's take a look at the backside. As you can see with the backside here, we got some lovely... I don't know if it's going to come with a mat. If it does, cool. If not, you know, you might need that. It says no glue required, so they should be all put together, or in a way it probably fits together if it snaps. We should be having, it looks like, some creature riders, stuff like that. Supposedly highly detailed. We got 18. Doesn't say if they're going to be dupes, but got some nice little lore going on here. But yeah, overall very nice, and there's a nice Steamforged logo. Let's open it up and get to the models inside and see how nice and see what we get. So here's the little pamphlets and stuff that come with it. We got a little booklet here for probably characters, classes, stuff like that. On the left center, we got like the actual map. It's paper, unfortunately. Is what it is. It's a little paper map, probably be easy. And you got little epic encounters over there for some other stuff like the Swamp Hydra, Orc King, some stuff to show off some of the models so you see what they look like. Very nice overall. Let's get to the models though, because like these are nice, and don't get me wrong, the paper looks nice. It's just I'm not a big fan of paper because once it rips, it's ripped, it's screwed, and you're done. I guess you could honestly, you know what? Unless it's double-sided, which I think it is, which kind of sucks, you could probably just, if you don't mind losing a side, glue down a piece of cardboard or something and, like, you know, solidify it so it's not going to bend and all that, but, or create your own type of, you know, folding system to make it so it works, but put on, like, a harder surface. But anyway, digressing. Nice book over there for the right for details. Got some stats inside and all those kind of good things. So I think, honestly, that's what you should get if you're looking for it. Now, it looks like, I'm going to say this now, we do have some nicely detailed models. We got a couple models of each style. So to make this easy, I will go through one version of each of them just because I don't need to show you like all 5 of one or all 3 of another. And then you got like the leaders and the second in commands or whatever. Like you got like about, I'd say 3 of each model at the most, or at least 5 of some of the other, or 6 of some of the other ones for like battle. And you got some big bruisers. And I gotta say, honestly, looking at them, I can see their high detail. I cannot wait to get these out and show you guys because their plastic holds are very complicated. They got this stuff to be really hard to get out really quick, which I'm not sure why. But let's open this up. I'll get these inside, get on the turntable, and we'll take a look together. And I'll even do some comparisons at the end to some other lizard folk. So first up, we have your standard sort of lizard folk warrior. Now this system, as you can see, they have like a base and then another little base on top. Oh, hold on one second. There we go. Sorry about that. I had to change his position. He was moving in and out of focus. But as you can see, he's got a double base sort of system thing kind of rocking here where they got like a base on the bottom. And then it looks like they have their own little limb base stuck on top of that for their detail and stuff. Why is it? I cannot seem to keep these things. Sorry about that, folks. I'm sorry you're seeing that. I'm just trying to keep this in frame. For some reason, no matter where I set it, it wants to keep rotating out of frame. So one moment. There we go. Much better. And honestly, with the red figure, this will help kind of pop out some detail. Overall, though, this is your warrior, your standard 2 jagged blade wielding warrior with sort of some dreadlock spikes going on there. Pretty cool. Nice little sail on the back. Got some clothing going. So these aren't like brutes lizardmen that are dumb. They have knowledge of getting clothing on and armor and stuff like that and creating weapons. So these are not like your basic barbarians. They actually have some... I honestly like to think of Lizardfolk as a little bit more honorable. And he looks pretty cool. Like, he's got some nice design going on here, some bone stuff, inlaid with some slight metallic aspect. I feel they're more of a bone and leather people, and like Monster Hunter parts people. Like they use Monster Hunter parts hunted from monsters to make their weapons. Thank goodness. I don't know why that kept like having an issue in my tongue coming off, but dang. Overall, though, you get 6 of this guy. Really cool model. And as you can see, very highly detailed. As always, Steamforge just kills it with detail. They just bring it all the way. But let's move on. Next up, we got, like, I want to call the Goanna Scout, because he just looks like an iguana with that neck girdle kind of going there and the, like, sails going on the back. Has a sling. So, honestly, like, very similar to a kobold in his field, just because he's got a dagger and a sling. Pretty big boulder in there, too. That's the size like a hand. So, like, you know, that's a pretty good sized little boulder there. Rocky's throwing at you and knocking you out with. Not sure what that is on his side of his leg. I think oh, okay, I know what that is. That's a sling pouch. Okay, that's his pouch for ammo. Oh, that's pretty cool. You don't see that on kobolds or anything else. You don't ever see, like, the pouch they carry all the boulders in. But, yeah, overall, really nice. Very good details. I like his sort of scaly, skinny appearance. Helps kind of put that he's like a rogue or like a throw or slinger class, which is really cool. Like the big frill in the back there, gives him to work with. Really nice. Very nice. But let's move on. You know, we got some more. We get 3 of this guy. Surprisingly 3. But, you know, he's a slinger. You're not going to have tons of archers when you need those big up-close fighters. But let's move on, though. Let's get to the next one of the set. So next up, we have our witch doctors or clerical wizards, whatever you want to call them, because as you can see, they are very gaunt, skinny. They kind of give me a Skeksis vibe. Only the fact of I bet they're way more active than a Skeksis. Like, I think they'd be way more of a threat. Got a little bit of tail poking out there, which is nice, so it's not completely cloaked off. Got a little bit of what spell effect there in the hand. I wish that was a translucent. But, you know, I guess you can make it a hard paint instead of like that. Make it like a nice shiny blue or something like that to give it some special look. But overall, as you can see, a very nice design. I like the stitching in the cloak to show that they stitch it. You know, crazy staff there. Very nice, very nice. And I'm not sure how I feel about the whole raised base system they're kind of working with. But honestly, overall, it works. I don't hate it. It works. Looks really good. Okay, now we've hit the big guns. This is your brute brawler, as I'm calling it. I don't know what their names are. I could read their names, but I'm just calling what I like to see them at. This is giving me the brawler vibe. This is the big boy. You're sending him in to rip and tear. Look at the claw gauntlets on him. Those are cool. He's got some lovely scale work on his tails. Nice on the back. Very cool stance. He's got the loincloth. The base on him, once again, raised, but because of how big he is, it works. And I like the detail on the base itself with the little craggly bits. Got that brawny brute head because unlike most lizards, he's got a very scrunched face, meaning he's a lot more in the, what's the word I'm looking for? Not finesse bite like the other lizards. This guy is like crunching through bone. He's crunching through everything. I like the skulls on the chain there on his neck. It's pretty cool. Big old claw gauntlets, like if I ripped those off some creature and stuck them to his hand. Weird that they have 4 fingers. I'd assume that or 5 fingers like us. I'd assume the lizard folk would have less because they have those big dinosaurian, 3 or 4 toed feet. Oh, actually, no, hold on. They do have the little dew claw there, which is like, you know, something they would have had in their olden days. I think they actually, yeah, you know, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 toes. So, yeah, okay, I could say it. It works. If they're 3-toed, I'd be a little more concerned because, you know, it's more ancient saurian going there. But yeah, overall, really nice. I like the big, bulky, blocky scales on his body for, like, that's his natural armor type thing. Big, thick tail, too. Like, it's not a skinny tail, it's a thick tail. So they can actually club you or slap you with it. So it's really cool. Overall, love these figures. I love these big boys. These ones are the nice ones. These are nice. And you get 3 of these big guys, so that's really cool. So here we have your saber-tooth-ridden lizard riders. Now, this is pretty cool. I didn't think they were going to give them, like, these cool lizards. Like, a saber-tooth is a pet. I thought they'd have, like, a crocodile or something. But no. Here they come out of the gate with something this kind of cool. It's giving me He-Man vibes for the giant, like, saber-tooth riding thing going, which is pretty bad, eh? Pretty beef. I like it. I like that. It's weird how the saber-tooth has spikes coming out of its rear leg like that, but not anywhere else. So very unusual. It does seem to have, like, a mane up front. They do have like a sort of headpiece on it, like a horse. I don't think, yeah, it doesn't go across the sides of it, so I'm not sure how that really is good for steering. Because we put the bar through the horse's mouth to help with the... Oh, okay. I see a little bit of something that goes along the lower jaw. Oh, okay, I see, yeah. Looks like it has some lower jaw stuff, so it pulls on the lower jaw to make them turn. Okay. Got some, honestly, it's weird. It looks like it has van braces on its front arm, which is different. Some wrappings on its leg, even on its tail. Pretty nice. I like the seat. The saddle looks comfortable. Like, it's got a nice rest and everything for it. And the lizard dude's got a nice big old chunky spear hooked blade to slash you with as he goes by. Very nice. I wish he was a little bit bigger, but you know what? I guess that's to make it so this cat has full maneuverability and doesn't have a giant lizard man on his back, offsetting him when he's trying to jump, pounce, and all that stuff. Overall, though, dang, that is one nice creature. Now, just like with the big brute guys, we got 3 of these big kitty riders. So really awesome, but now we're going to get to the chieftain, and then we'll do some comparisons. Here he is, the lizard chieftain himself. A big boy who is kind of pushing what can fit on a medium base. But he is the chief, so it works. Get giant weapons. Got some nice weapons here. I'm not sure what his axe is made out of. It looks like some spears from a dinosaur on the back, and then for stabbing, and then like you got a plate of a dinosaur on the front for cutting, which is cool. Got some big tusks on him, or some claws to go around his neck as a sort of ceremonial chief garb, because he doesn't have like a crown. It's just his crown of spikes on his own head. Overall, though, really cool. I like how he's got a little bit more like of a ceremonial dress rocking. He is a big boy, too, under that dress. He's filling it out. He's a big boy, which is cool. I like it. I love the design. Very nice. But now we're going to do some comparisons to some WizKids and other models. Just quick ones, so we're not going to do a crap load, but we'll do some. Then we'll talk about the pricing, quality, and whether I would say you should get this. So here we have the chief next to a large sort of, I think he was actually considered Dragon Man in Reaper Bones by painting him to be like a lizard folk with the underbelly and the back scales, and he's like all armored up. As you can see, they're pretty similar in size. Basing being separate, their basing's different, but, similar-esque, more clothing, more armor. This one, though, being a little more futuristic or more modern lizard man in the sense that he's got all those metallic parts, and, other one being a little bit more on the lives more in harmony with nature type, but still overall good. I mean, they're very comparable in size. Detail wise, this is an old Reaper Bones too, by the way. I gotta say that's old Reaper Bones. So Reaper Bones, even the old days, their old stuff could compete. But let's compare it to another model. Okay, now you couldn't not have me comparing to a dinosaurian type lizard folk that I happen to have. This is the Rex man, or the Saurian Rex as I like to call him, just because he's a Saurian. Lizard folk, yes. Saurian, yes. So probably a little bit more powerful than, say, him. But as you can see in size, he would probably get decimated by this big Rex-headed beast man. Now, granted, though, the Saurians are very primitive in this situation. They all have these really simple clubs, as you can see, in simple weapons with simple clothing. But their species is probably more tribal in the sense like an orc, where it's like, I don't need armor. I don't need deadly weapons. I will bludgeon you to a pulp. And since this is a Tyrannosaurian, yeah, guess what? He is going to bite you with an amazing bite force. Like, that's probably his finisher. Like, he goes for the bite and just crushes your skull or something. Still one of my favorites of my lizard men is the Rex. This is also another old Reaper Bones, as you can see. Great detail on him to match up. So, like, these are both very well detailed. Now, you're going to say yes. You can see the older one has a little bit more age to him. He's got more age in his design, but still... But now let's put him up next to a WizKids model. Here he is next to the lizard folk from one of the newer sets from D&D. You can see lizard folks are getting a little brawnier, very similar in armor design. And yes, there is some detail in the lizard man. However, this comes from a blind pack where you have to hopefully get this big boy. And I got lucky and drew one of these guys, but, they're not easy to get. And for the price-wise... they're pretty expensive just to get a simple... This is a common lizard folk. This is not a captain. This isn't a champion. Just a lizard folk. He's not anything special. He's just like a fighter. But overall, you can easily see that Steamforge here is on equal, if not better, par than WizKids. And now I left him up there to compare him to the warrior. And as you can see with the warrior, he's a lot more ornate, a little thinner. But, he is a two-sword fighter. And fighters are probably a little thinner than a brawny lizard folk. So, there's a little different discrepancy in sizing, little offset, but they still, in my opinion, they're the same scaling. There's no real super difference. It seems like they're trying to make the lizard folk in Epic have a more movable head and neck like we do. This lizard folk on the left, or WizKids, has more of like a standard lizard that can stand up and walk. Like, it's turning its body to look at you. It can't just turn its neck to look at you all the way around like we can. Like, it can't turn as far as our neck, probably. But it's still a very nice model. You know, very good comparison. It still works, in my opinion. Very nice. Well, here we got with some brutes. Now, this is an older Bandai, not, WizKids. This is when D&D was made through Bandai and Hasbro. They made these models, like these sort of softer plastics. This is their Black Scales Brute, and I put him up there because they're both brutes. Now, if you compare it, yeah, the Brute of Epic just blows out of the water. The detail on that one is so amazing and so cool. Don't get me wrong, the Black Scales there has this old school grunge appeal, but man, the new one just destroys it. Both have their four-toed feet. His are splayed out and cool looking. His tail is not as big as the Black Scale, but it doesn't need to be because the super long tail could hinder quick movement since it looks like the Brawler. He's going to be swinging some quick claws. He's going to be slashing through squads of enemies. He can't have his foes being too fast. Also both lightly armored, if anything. Mostly probably natural armor. But I like more of the spikes on the Brute versus the big sail on the Black Scale to make him like, oh, that gives him something to look to. The sail needs to be the different color between the webbing and the spikes of the sail. While this big old Brute here on the right, he's just a beast. And he's also, I actually feel he would just dominate in this fight. If the two went at it, he would win. He would smack that mace away and just pulverize and cut up that Black Scale and show him who's boss. So overall, Epic is getting the win in that one versus old WizKids for like a big Brute miniature. So here we have the, I call these the two scout classes. This lizard folk has like a bunch of spears on his back, a club, and a turtle shell shield. The other one is also kind of thinnish, and they look like they're both kind of like a scout pose. Very similar. This is Reaper Bones. I don't really have a scout for WizKids, but I do have one I can compare it to, I guess, to look. Yeah, so here it is next to one of the other lizard folks you can get in a set. A little more color in this one, and a little more thinner design, which I kind of liked, because it gave him more of a humanoidish appearance. This is actually, since he was thinner than the other one, is actually why I consider him more in the rogue class, or the scout class, or the ranger class, like this guy. Overall, though, you can see they could easily work together. I see no reason these cannot be on the same tabletop, and, you know, someone's like, ooh, that doesn't work. No, I think it looks great. So here we have the shamans compared. This is my female shaman that I got from a Etsy order. So it's 3D printed versus that, and I like my Etsy order more. It has more style and flair. Yes, I also did make her a white lizard folk, because I would say Overlord reference. But overall, a nice comparison. But let's get to the overall look here. So here's an overall with just all the miniatures we use for comparison, except for the one guy there is a Brute. But as you can see, there's nothing stopping these lizard folk from being all on the table together. Different colorations aside and all that kind of good jazz. And I think, honestly, Epic is worth it. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes. Is this great for the quality? Oh, yes. Quality is there. These models have great plastic. You get more than this. I haven't put all of them up there because I wanted to have them kind of sit next to their comparisons. Now, Steamforged Games, this one, Epic Encounters is a little different than the other ones. It's more of availability if it's available. Usually with Epic Encounters, you're rocking around like, like 40 for the big boys on occasion. And then like 30 something for the small ones. And this can vary, of course, like whether they're new or they've been around for a while. I mean, for instance, the Drow Queen, I think is a little bit of a newer one. She's like 50 for hers. And that's her Drow minions. I think she comes with them, if I remember correctly, in her set. Let me just think here. Yeah, I think she does. Sorry. Yeah, think about it. She does come with her Drow minions, I believe. So, like, her set is a head boss and minion set, so that doesn't really exactly compare. But if we were going with something like, what's a good one? Kobolds, maybe? Or, we'll go with the Gnolls, another new one, the Gnoll Pack. The Gnoll Pack is about like 53, and, that's another big set with monsters in it and some large creatures and something like that. We also have a leader inside of it. I think it also, but then you have big monsters. It's a tough one with this one. There are some really cool things, and then there's some things I wouldn't. Now, this set, right now, I think the lowest option for if you're, say, getting through Amazon is like $54.60. Yeah, this set's probably looked after. Lizard folk are popular. People like them. They're awesome. I love lizard folk, for instance. They're cool. And would I recommend getting it? Well, I would try to find it on sale or something, because like at 54, you're spending a lot for models that do look great. You don't need to do any real like cleaning on them. They're really well made because this is steam forged, and I mean they paint well. I mean, you've seen me in the past with some of the models I think I pre-painted first. Some from the Dark Souls. But overall, honestly, guys, I give this one 2 thumbs up. It's amazing. It blows it out of the water. If you can get them for a good deal, do it. If you can't, hold off and wait. Maybe you might get lucky. You can get them sometimes used. I'm not sure what that means because I don't buy used miniatures just because like I don't want them to be messed up painted in the first place, something like that. Because painting it from scratch is one thing. Fixing what someone else did and then going back in can be easy, but can also be a humongous nightmare. Overall, that's all I've got to say about this set. It's an amazing set. I would recommend. That's all I've got for you today. If you guys have stayed this long, I thank you very much. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Helps out greatly. Share with your friends to help them to enjoy. Maybe they'll join too to help grow the Dragon Army. And make sure you smash the like button. In this case, I guess, Reptile / that like button. And comments, ideas, anything you want to throw down below, or ideas or something you want, a shout out, something like that. Whatever you want to do. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Have a great one, and see you next time. Bye-bye.